when I'm done dragging your carcass from pillar to post, I'm going to raise that title up and everybody's going to know who the man is. Oh, sorry. Y'all caught me. I was just playing with myself. Ah-cha-cha. What's up, y'all? It is November 18th, Friday. I know I said I was gonna say something about Paul Bearer and tell a little story about him, but we got time for that. Something came to mind this past weekend. Chalmette. There was a show this past week. There was two shows this past weekend in Chalmette. It was NWA and Wildcat. I had shows Saturday and Sunday. So it brought up some memories of Chalmette. And Chalmette was a mecca back in the day for wrestling. And when I tell you that place packed the Civic Center now, it was a Chalmette Center, the Chalmette Civic Center back in the day. They packed that place out. All three levels were packed with people. Don DiBiase used to run that. UWF, I think it was. And Tommy ran CWF out here on the West Bank. Now, they ran together. They worked together for years. And they ran shows, and then something happened. They started butting heads. I think probably because, West Bank's, the class of West Bank is like way up here, and Chalmette is like down, like way down here, like near Kenner. Like the class, it's how it is. Anyway, they were button heads, and there's a lot of the wrestling business is so, it could be an awesome thing at one point, and at another point it could be like, why am I doing this? Because promoters like that run close together kind of butt heads a lot, and not so much nowadays, but back then, it was pretty stupid. Tommy even thought it was stupid. They just got this whole mentality that I run a better show. No, he runs a better show. I got better talent. No, he got better talent. And each promotion has their core guys that wrestle for their promotion. So like Don knew that I was Tommy's boy, and Don had his boys, and we could never cross the line. If you work for him, you can't work for me. And that's how promoters are. And it's stupid because we're independent wrestlers. And as long as they use us the same as our characters are, you should wrestle. You should be able to wrestle for everybody. Loyalty, the word loyalty it shouldn't even be a definition, shouldn't even be a word in a wrestling business, because it has no place for it, because there's no such thing as loyalty in wrestling. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. It's a good thing, actually, because we're all independent. Anyway, that's a story for another time. So Chalmette, the first show I went to in Chalmette, it was chaotic. The end of the show was Road Dogg was on it. Some of the Armstrongs, I think some of the Samoans, and something happened at the end of the show where somebody reached over the barricade and touched one of the wrestlers or punched them or something. One of the wrestlers just went off, and the Armstrongs were involved in it. When I say Armstrongs, I mean Road Dogg too, because he's an Armstrong. It went to court and everything. They were summoned to court here in Louisiana. I don't know exactly. I don't know the outcome or what happened with that, or whatever happened came out of it. If they dropped it, I don't know. But it was chaotic. It was a melee. All I remember is I was outside and the door swung open, and Gator and Snapper come running out. Gator and Snapper were a tag team called the Cajun Connection. They were legit tag team, combined 800 to 900 pounds. Running out the door with all the fans and everything. It was just a melee. It was unbelievable. So I'm saying, like, Chalmette was a hotbed for wrestling, kind of like Homer was. And I've always, that since that night, I wanted to be like, yeah, when I start wrestling, I want to wrestle in this building. So I got a shot at wrestling in this building. I started wrestling all over the place, and my name slowly but surely kind of got out there. And Don wanted to use me. And I went to Tommy, and Tommy, he said, I don't care. Go ahead. Go work for him. So I did. He goes, just, watch yourself. So, Don, like I said, every promotion has their core guys that they use, and everybody knew I was Tommy's boy. And I never forget, Minister Society and Bishop was Don's boys. And me and Mike, Minister Society, we laugh about it today. It's hysterical because Don told me, he's like, hey, brothers, I want you to come to the gym and work out. I want to see what you got. All right, brothers? I want to book you. I want to book you. So I walk. He owned a gym, Fitness 2000 in Chalmette. So I walked through the doors by myself, and I never forget the look on Menace's face. Menace to Society was a wrestler, and I'll never forget the look on his face. He's got two dumbbells in his arms, and he's curling in the mirror. And he looked up and see me, and the weights dropped out of his hand. He thought it was at a fight. It was just so funny. I looked at him, shook my head, and walked in the back. So he comes in the back, and he's like, everything's all right. Me and Menace, Menace is one of my favorite guys that I've met in this business, and we had a hell of a run together and had a ball, had a blast once we got to know each other. And it's a shame he moved away to Dallas, and he's got his head swollen with his own little podcast and everything. But but we always call each other once in a while, start messing with each other, and we just go straight back to where it was. Anyway, so I got to wrestle in Chalmette at the Civic Center. One catch. It was a hardcore match against Kevin Northcutt. Kevin Northcutt's hometown is Chalmette, Louisiana. Everybody knew who Kevin Northcutt is. Kevin Northcutt is probably he's bigger than me. He was bigger than me. Even me at 350 and 6'5". I think he was 6'7" at 352, but he was 350, big, huge 350. So they turned it into like a three-way street fight with my very first tag partner I ever had was Road Rage. He wore a mask, carried a spare tire to the ring, called himself Road Rage. Together we were the Bod Squad. We really weren't, but we called ourselves the Bod Squad. It was funny. That was my first tag partner. I love him to death. We still keep in contact. He lives in Florida now. But we had a three-way Chalmette street fight. And when I tell you this thing was brutal, when Kevin started in on us, he started in on us. Man, I took a super kick in thumbtacks, took a big bump in thumbtacks. A flaming chair, he lit a chair on fire, hit me with it. He hit my tag partner with a golf club, bent it in half. And it was funny the whole time. We were laughing. It was brutal. It was painful, but it was still laughing. I was a nervous wreck because it was Kevin, and it was his hometown, so I knew he was going to go off. And he did, and it wound up being a brutal match. My wife got up and walked out. She couldn't take it. That was the same night that some fool, Rusty, jumped from the balcony onto the ground and shattered his ankles. Tried to put somebody through a table. Shattered his ankles from the second balcony. But like I said, Chalmette was huge. I got to wrestle again when WWE came here first time for WrestleMania. That weekend was a big show in that place that I was honored to be part of because I got to talk to a bunch of legends and pick their brains. Mr. Wrestler 3, One Man Gang. That's another story that I'm going to tell later too because me and One Man Gang are pretty good friends. But that's a story for next time, for another time. Who else? Just all kinds of guys from Mid-South era, from way back in WWE days. I think Jake the Snake was there. I think Sam Houston was there. Roddy Piper. Jim Cornette. So I got to sit down and kind of pick all these guys' brains before the doors open. And it was like a Comic-Con way. People can walk around, take pictures, buy the merchandise. And then at the end of the night, they had a show. And I was part of the show. I was part of the Battle Royal. Had a great time. I was honored to be on that show. It was awesome. Elite put that on. Elite that was in Homa put that on in Chalmette. And then when Elevate started running, I was so excited when Elevate started running because they were all over Chalmette. And then eventually we got to wrestle in the Civic Center again. And they wasn't drawing as many people as they did way back in the day, but it started getting word around and everything, and then COVID hit. COVID shut down a lot of things. And especially with wrestling, and I think the show that we had at the center with Elevate was one of my favorite shows. It was cool. And then this past weekend, it was another history made by Wildcat and NWA being in that building. It was pretty good. ECW way back in the day ran that building too. But yeah, that was my Chalmette experience. Love Chalmette. I love wrestling in Chalmette. People are awesome. The fans in Chalmette are awesome, just like they are in Houma. And that's my story in Chalmette. So I figured I'd throw that in there since that was this weekend. This weekend coming up, Golf State Wrestling is having that show in Morgan City. So if you're in the Morgan City area, go to the Morgan City Municipal Auditorium. They are having a huge Toys for Tots show. Doors open at 5. Bell time is 6. That's who I was champion for, heavyweight champion for, before I stepped out of the ring. And I hope they usually draw really big. So I hope they have a phenomenal show. It's going to be a good one. Like I said, I've got 108 subscribers to my YouTube. If all 108 share my videos, I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I know this was kind of boring and kind of fast, but they're going to get better because my brain keeps going. So if, like I said, you got any suggestions, let me know. Later, bye. Y'all have a good weekend.